One of the things that one of the principles that we've noticed in the Mishnah of Sotah is that we are clarifying issues of lack of clarity. So if, for example, if the woman says, I am defiled, well, there are witnesses that say she was defiled, we don't need to drink the bitter waters. We're only interested in matters of uncertainty. And we seem to be interested in matters of purity and impurity. And with this in mind, that we're focused on uncertainty and on purity, it's very interesting that the Mishnah is now going to go off on a tangent, or what seems to be a tangent, to investigate all kinds of differences of taxonomy. And by the way, these kinds of differences are going to occupy just about the next 2 or 3 or even 4 chapters of the Mishnah. So we're actually done with the basic work of the Mishnah in terms of outlining the mechanism of the Sotah, because we've taken the mechanism all the way from the journey up to Jerusalem to drinking the water. So we're done with the basic mechanisms. And now we're going to investigate all kinds of other issues of uncertainty or difference. And we're going to begin. We're in the 7th Mishnah of the 3rd chapter. So we're close to the end of the 3rd chapter. And we'll just remind ourselves of a verse in Vayikra, in Leviticus. V'chol minchat kohen kalil tieh lo te'achel. Every meal offering, every mincha offering of a kohen, of a priest, shall be burnt in its entirety. It shall not be eaten. So when a priest brings a mincha offering, a meal offering, it's not eaten. And we learned, of course, that the meal offering of the Sotah is mainly eaten. A handful is burnt on the altar, but the rest is eaten by the priests. Of course, if she's and of course, we learned in the previous Mishnah that if she's married to a Kohen, she has the status of Kuhuna. If she's married to a priest, she has priestly status. So actually, the Sotah who's married to a priest, if she brings a meal offering, it's treated like a priestly offering. Someone married to a priest has the status of a priest. But that is not the case. That is not the case with the daughter of a priest. And we'll see, the Mishnah is now going to explore this. What's the difference between someone who's married to a priest, who actually takes on the status of kuna for this purpose, and the daughter of a priest, once she marries an ordinary Israelite, who actually loses that state? And the Mishnah begins, Bat Yisrael sheniseit la kohen minchata nisrafet. The offering of a daughter of an Israelite married to a priest is burnt. And we know that halacha because effectively she becomes a priest when she marries him. So it's burnt. Her offering is burnt. Vechohenet. And a kohenet. When the Mishnah refers to a kohenet, I guess that's a female kohen. A kohen is a priest. A kohenet is a female priest. But when the Mishnah refers to a kohenet as a female priest, it refers to someone who's the daughter of a priest. A kohenet is the daughter of a priest. And the Mishnah then teaches vechohenet shiniseit la'Yisrael, and the daughter of a priest, but married to an Israelite. Minchata nechelet, her offering is eaten, because once she marries an Israelite, her status changes. And it's really interesting that the Mishnah is going to define her status by who she's married to rather than who her father is. And then it goes on to outline the taxonomy, ma bein kohen la kohenet. So what difference is there between a priest and a priest's daughter? Ma bein kohen la kohenet. And by the way, we're assuming here throughout that this is a priest's daughter who's married an ordinary Israel. And the Mishnah begins by just saying, look, minchat kohenet nechelet, minchat kohen eina nechelet. The meal offering of a kohenet, of a priest's daughter, who's married out, is eaten. It's just like an ordinary offering. Minchat kohen enan echalet. The meal offering of a priest is not eaten, as we've already learned. Essentially the underlying principle is a priest. When he brings an offering, he's not going to give to his brother priests to consume, because essentially that was already in the priestly domain when he brought it. So that's why it's burnt. It's not eaten, it's burnt. And similarly, Kohenet mitchalelet. Well, not similarly. Really interestingly, Kohenet mitchalelet, a priest's daughter can become, well, Safaria translates mitchalelet as deconsecrated. But essentially, she loses her status. She can't eat truma anymore if, for example, she becomes impure. V'chohen eino mitchalelet, but a priest doesn't become deconsecrated. Now, these are generalities in the Mishnah, and we're not actually learning generalities from them. We're not learning halakha from this Mishnah. This is almost like a teaching Mishnah. And of course, the Mishnah knows that if a Kohen marries someone he's not allowed to marry, he can't perform the divine service anymore, but he can still eat truma. And if she dies or he divorces her, he can go back to giving the divine service. So in other words, his fundamental essence doesn't seem to be altered by entering into a forbidden marriage. It might actually be by killing someone. That's a different issue. And that's why I'm saying we're not learning halakha from here. A kohen can't become deconsecrated. It will not. I don't think that's an absolute statement, but certainly by marriage, he doesn't fundamentally become deconsecrated, whereas his daughter does. Kohenet mitamala meitim, a priest's daughter, can actually come into contact with the dead. She can defile herself by touching the dead or by being close to the dead. But a priest can't defile himself by contact with the dead. He's not allowed to do that. And the instruction not to come into contact with the dead, it's given in Vayikra, in Leviticus, in the Parsha of Emor. And there the verse specifically says, speak to the Bnei Aharon, the sons of Aaron. And the halakha there assumes that we're talking about the sons and not the daughters of Aaron. Similarly, Kohen ochel b'kodshei kodashim. A Kohen eats of the most holy things. These are, for example, the sin offerings. Ve'ein kohenet ochelet b'kodshei kodashim. But his daughter doesn't eat of the most holy things. So his daughter, for example, may eat from truma, but she doesn't eat the most holy things on the altar.